Folks, again, welcome. Soaring Prophets coming from the Toronto Humane Society, joined by a lovely young lady,
Breanne.
I was going with that. I was going to make a nice comment, and now you've made this whole thing.
I wrote it up.
Breanne Bennett, one of the caseworkers. We've talked with a few other people here in regards to the social work side of the Toronto Humane Society, which I don't think enough people know.
No.
I don't think anyone knows, quite frankly. We walked in here, had no clue. We ended up in a situation where we were talking with Dr. Ward off the hop, and she was saying, you know, we do a lot veterinarian-wise to support our animals, but really, it's a lot of supporting the families, making sure that, you know, we're not rehoming animals if we can help them on the social work side. So Breanne, thank you for joining us, obviously. Tell us a little bit about what an animal social worker, caseworker, what does this look like?
We call ourselves like veterinary social workers.
Cool.
So exactly what you said, we work a lot with the families, the humans.
Right.
And like ultimately everything we do at the Toronto Humane Society is to maintain a human-animal bond.
I love that.
So a lot of people here are really well trained at the animals.
Yes.
We're the well trained at the humans.
Right.
So we all work together collaboratively to try and keep animals with their humans and humans with their animals. And sometimes it's as simple as like they just need food for their animals sometimes, or maybe a litter box, or it's a lot of advocating maybe to get animals in human shelters.
Well, see, that's an angle that I don't think a lot of people think about, right? Is that, so again, doing that, the animal-human bond and keeping them together.
Yeah.
We don't think about that, but this organization is sort of pioneering that. It seems like you folks are kind of spearheading that initiative, taking that on. Is that something that you folks have decided to do yourself, or where does that come from? Like your background is in social work?
Yeah, I mean, I literally just finished my master's.
Congratulations. Amazing.
Thank you. And that's how I'm here.
Cool.
So I don't have maybe as good of an answer to that as some people who've been here like for 10, 11, 15 years.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that I know the organization's been really passionate about.
For sure.
For a while.
So social work, I also am in social work. Don't have a degree, but
okay.
I have studied social work, and I am in the field. I don't think animals. I think about people and society and helping people get the things that they need personally. Mm-hmm. But you're more about the animal-human connection. Can you describe a little bit more about that and how that works? Especially if you want in the homeless shelters and stuff like that, because I understand that part of your work is in that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone, I can speak about myself, and I feel like a lot of people have this similar experience where like animals, like my pets have been
super important,
incredible mental support for me. I have always had dogs, and then when I moved to Toronto, I got my cat, and it's literally just like me and my cat. We're best friends. And she keeps me sane, honestly.
We hear that a lot from this crowd, actually. Yeah.
So if I like was in a position where I had to possibly lose her, I don't know what I would do. And so I think we all just relate to that. And so the human-animal bond is something we really strongly advocate for, because it is something on a social work side that is so good for your mental health. And there's studies that show that it's good for the animals' well-being too, like studies with their reduced cortisol levels, or just health-wise, it's good for them. So
and in the elderly field, like I have read a lot of studies that if they have animals that they've taken care of, not only does it get them out to walk, but it also is someone to talk to. I talk to my dog all the time, and he knows all my secrets. Charlie, if you're out there, please don't tell them. But do you help out in elderly care as well? Is that like an aspect of the Humane Society?
We don't have like a formal program yet. It's something that I know, like I've spoken with our like director of social work, Dylan. She's awesome. Her and I have talked about it a little bit. It's something I would love to see something happen here, because I think of like my own grandparents and how much their animals mean to them, or like I'm trying to get my grandma right now to foster because she needs another cat so bad. And so I could see such value even in like fostering, like, or having them in more like elderly facilities. I think it's just so good for like mental health as well as agency. Give you something to do, give you something to take care of, keeps your brain working, you know.
That's an aspect we haven't talked about yet, the fostering. How does fostering work? Like, so I imagine that's long term. What does that look like?
I mean, we have different fostering capacities here. So there's the regular foster department, which does our adoptable animals or animals that are getting ready for adoption. And that can be at various capacities. Some people foster like kittens and do like nursing, like they have to feed these kittens every 2 hours. It's a lot of commitment, but these people are amazing. We have the volunteer foster parents who do like behavioral animals, which again, a lot of work, incredible that they do that. And then what I'm more involved in is our urgent care fostering. So that is our program for people who are either like fleeing violence, have a like unprecedented medical situation, or are facing housing instability, and they just need someone to help out so that they can find housing that maybe right now doesn't accept animals. They just need up to 6 months of help. So I work a lot with that program, and that would be a foster parent who would take an owned animal and foster for up to 6 months.
So if someone's in the situation right now, maybe they've lost their job, they have a medical emergency where they're in the hospital, and they have no friends, or not no friends, but they have no way of anyone to take care of the animal, they can call you personally. And what does that look like?
Yeah, we have, it's on our website, it's called Urgent Care, and there's an application, and we do have quite a huge demand for the program.
I believe it,
especially with the housing crisis right now.
Yeah.
So I do recommend people try to be as proactive as they can with the application.
If you know it's coming up.
Because it does take a little bit of time, and the program is completely on just our capacity, and that's in various ways. So we have to have a medical capacity to take care of the animal, behavior capacity, and we have to have a foster parent lined up before we can bring it into the program, because we try not to keep animals in shelter. So it does take a little bit of time with all that coordination.
But as the consumer, what's that look like for me? So I call, and then do I have to give you money? Do I have to, what do I do?
You just apply online, and then if you're accepted, it's completely free. And we do a full medical exam, and in a lot of cases that's huge help in itself, because sometimes these animals have never been to a vet.
Absolutely,
And they get full vaccines. If you consent, they can get microchips, spay, neuter. It's all covered in the program. Yeah.
So Breanne, if you had a unlimited budget, that's what we're trying to do here today. Raise a little money for this organization, Toronto Humane Society. We've got a bit of a book program as well. You can get some great literature from the Benjamin Project. Amazing people. Lisa
from 1,000 Trees.
From 1,000 Trees, Malcolm. They've been great putting this all together and allowing us to come in here. But if you had this magical, mythical, unlimited budget, what is your next move? What is a program that you would see Toronto Humane Society implementing to make your job easier, the community, more efficient in what we're doing, and the outcomes better for our four-legged companions?
I would love to see, and it's something we're working on. We've launched a program already to try and start something like this, but we're trying to advocate for more animals to be in shelters. And I know that the human shelter workers, and they have a lot on their hands as is. So if I had unlimited money, I guess I would create more human animal shelters.
So what does that crossover look like? Because again, if I show up, I find myself unhoused, what does that look like? Because I'm probably showing up at a shelter and they're saying, sorry, sir, you can't come in with your dog.
If you were able to get a bed at a shelter these days, because it is insane how many people are facing homelessness, they most of the time will say, yeah, you can come have a bed, but you can't bring your dog.
Right.
So is Toronto Humane Society, are you folks able to implement that almost immediately? Are you showing up at a shelter, being able to get that person a bed that night? Or again, are we looking at a little bit longer process?
This is, more long-term and advocacy-wise, right? Sure. Because these shelters are over
100%.
As is. So
there's lineups.
So it's not like we're trying to be like, you also need to do this.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's something that one day would be really nice to see, if maybe there was just more opportunities for people to be able to take their animals with them.
Very cool.
Because for all the reasons we talked about earlier.
Absolutely.
And it's better for everybody to just be together.
So if I want to volunteer and help you out, is there jobs that assist you as a volunteer?
Yeah, I think foster parents, we really need foster parents for large breed dogs. We're seeing a huge rise in big dog breeds coming into our urgent care program, such as like Huskies, for example.
Sure.
And like Huskies tend to always be in
Right.
pairs.
Right.
So if there's ever a foster parent out there that would want to take like Huskies or bigger dogs, maybe like trying to think of other breeds. I'm blanking right now, but
Yeah.
Great Dane.
Are there
Great Danes,
are
yeah.
there breeds that like hit the door and never have a problem getting? Like I've got a golden retriever at home.
Yeah.
I can't imagine seeing the golden retriever at all sitting in one of the pound cages type kind of thing. I feel like
No.
everyone just goes over and
Yeah,
like
but I
and
bet
it's
a
all
bulldog or a pit bull or something like that might be harder to, or Doberman might be harder.
like. Do you find that there are certain breed specific animals that you see more than others? Like what does that look like?
yeah, I mean, we see everything.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think smaller dogs go quicker.
Okay.
Or just, because I mean, you think about Toronto,
So
we're
easy.
in like everyone's in condos.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like harder to have a big dog.
Yeah, the Saint Bernard sits for a second.
Yeah, yeah.
That's interesting. Do I have to live in Toronto to be a foster parent?
If you can get here for all of the appointments and to pick them up and
Yep.
all the things,
So you can
then
literally, you
go
can have
anywhere.
a farm, you can be anywhere.
It would-
Peterborough.
that's what I
Yeah.
would love to see more foster parents with like farms that could take bigger dogs,
Right.
Right.
because they need space to run. They need a certain level of care with like taking for walks and all those things.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find, and rightly so. Like, it's fair enough to find foster parents in the downtown Toronto core that
Absolutely.
can take those big dogs.
So to be a foster parent of a child, you need a lot of things, right down to like the fire alarms in your house, and you know what your house looks like, your fridge being full. What's it look like to be a foster parent of a dog? Like, what are your qualifications and needs?
There's standardized training that we have that you have to go through, and there's lots of agreements. And specifically,
And I have to pay for that? Like, it's a couple $100?
no, if you're a volunteer, I think it's just part of it.
Cool.
Yeah, we just give it to you, and then if you are an urgent care foster parent, there's a little extra training because there's a lot of confidentiality that goes along with it. So it's just
Sure.
it's not much more, but it's just like another course and then another agreement. But yeah. And then we provide everything. So like supplies, everything, food, everything. Should not be a cost to the
Really?
volunteer foster parent.
So it's just love and
You just have to
kindness
love them.
and going out with them every once in a
Yeah,
while.
take them for
And
walks.
so there is really no hassle for me because you do all the vet appointments, you do all the food, you do everything.
You just have to come here to bring them to the
Of
appointments
course.
and to get the food and things.
Yeah,
but
but
yeah.
so they get really ill. I'm not spending $1,000 to take care of them.
No. We have a lot of partners with, we have like an online veterinary clinic, and I'm struggling to remember the name right now. Forgive me, but
But if they go to the Toronto Humane Society site, they'll find that veterinary clinic.
it's when you get like our foster agreement. It's
Right.
on there. It's for emergencies. So you come here for all your vet appointments.
Right.
But if there was ever a situation, we don't want our foster
course.
parents to be in a position where like an emergency happens and you're like, where do I go? So
Right.
we do have everything lined up that way, so it shouldn't be much of a hassle.
Sounds pretty easy. I'm going to sign up Pat.
I'm gonna
for
walk with a
two
bunch of
huskies,
cats and kittens.
two
and-
huskies.
No,
These are
you're
the-
getting a big dog.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm giving you a husky.
He has a beautiful daughter that is already
Yeah.
like, I need a dog, Dad.
Well, I've got a 9-year-old golden retriever named Bauer that I've love him to death. He's getting a little bit older now, starting to slow down. So my 14-year-old daughter, you guys out there all know my daughter, but she's like, well, he needs a buddy.
Fair enough.
And I'm like, you're going off to college, and I'm going to get stuck with Buddy. So
That's what I did to my parents with my dog.
I see what you're doing now.
But two huskies. I
Right,
think it's perfect.
2 huskies
Yeah.
and a golden. I can only imagine my housekeeper already.
You need a lot of fur.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. You need
Breanne,
some rollers.
Oh my God.
Breanne, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We love telling you stories of people like yourself that are doing really amazing things, and that's our whole shtick with Soaring Prophets, right? So Breanne, social worker, caseworker here at Toronto Humane Society. Again, get in touch with the Benjamin Project. How can you help Toronto Humane Society to continue doing what they're doing? Their vision, their mission, like we don't have to sell it, folks. They're doing a fantastic job. You look around and you see this organization, the volunteers, the people that are putting their blood, sweat, and tears into this. It really is a beautiful thing. And the caseworkers, the social workers, you don't see that anywhere else. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. And from us, folks,